Taco Tuesday today here on Left Off the Map. So we're starting with some Mexican flavors in a chili, and then later on we'll do another Mexican recipe. Stopping in the middle to catch up with a group that are called 24 Carat Garden. Henry's gonna go and visit them at Mona in Hobart and find out what it is they do. So to get our chili started, I've got pork and beef mince. I need I've got about 500 grams of each. I don't need that because I only need 500 grams all up. So I need about half. It's about 250 grams of each of these. It's always good with these sorts of recipes. You do the same with a lot of Italian ragu sort of dishes. Pork just gives it a little bit of that fatty flavour and an intensity when you caramelise it that beef doesn't get you. So it's always good to have that. All right, a little bit of oil. Probably, I'm not going to need any oil, I don't reckon, because of the fat that's in that pork mince. So we'll cook that off. Once I've got a little bit of colour on that, I'm going to add my spice mix. So we are doing a chili, so I've got a chili spice mix. This has all the flavours that I need in it to pump a heap of tasty goodness into that chili. And it's sort of medium heat. So it's a chili. It's meant to have a nice little kick to it, and this does, which is great. So we'll give that another stir. So I reckon we'll do 5–10 minutes of browning our meat, and then I'll add my spice mix, then my passata, my tomatoes, my tin tomatoes, and then all of the other tinned ingredients in the refried beans and the black beans. But to go with this, I want a little bit of rice. So this pot over here, which is just about to come to the boil, I've got some rice. Pop that in. And that'll cook along. That'll cook along with our chili as we go. And the good thing about this big pig is that you can do two things at once. So the big amount of heat that you get out of there means you can cook a chili and you can get your rice done at the same time. My spice mix is in there. Next, I am gonna add some pickled jalapenos because I like heat. But this is a bit that you would not do. You'd leave this step out if you weren't that into heat and you just wanted the heat that was in the chili spice mix, then you wouldn't worry about these pickled jalapenos. These pickled, I don't actually think they're that hot. Because they've been pickled, it takes a lot of that heat out of them. I just think they're a sort of sweet, sour heat, which I absolutely love. So I'll pop them in. Then my passata, which is just tomato puree. So I have one bottle of that, about 500 mils. Give that a stir. And everything comes together quite quickly now. And it sort of just sits, which is great for, again, cooking outdoors. Everything just sort of sits and ticks away for 45 minutes to an hour. My black beans go in. All of my black beans. And then your refried beans, I think, add a great texture and flavour. And it's up to you how much of the refried beans you want to add. The more you add, the thicker your chili is going to be. So refried beans. I love the texture of refried beans and I love the flavour. So I'm going to put a couple of big spoons of that in. That's completely different to the black beans that are in there. The texture, the mouthfeel and the flavour. So stir that in. And now it just sits and ticks away for a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. You really can't leave it on there too long. If you want to leave it on for a long period of time, if you have started it early and you're happy to leave it, just keep topping it up with a little bit of water. Happy with that. That consistency is what I like. So I've used about half a tin of the refried beans. Need a pinch of salt. Check on my rice. So now these two will come together at the same time. I used brown rice, so it's gonna take about 45 minutes for the brown rice to cook, and that'll take about 45 minutes for it to just tick away now and for those flavours to do their thing, to mingle. So I'm gonna give that 45 minutes, we'll come back and we'll plate it up. My rice finished just before my chilli, so I've got that on the warming plate ready to go. Now it's time to bring everything together. The chilli itself is very versatile. So the good thing about it, if you're gonna make a good amount, which is what we've done, for the next day you can use it for nachos, or you can use it for tacos, or in a jaffle, or with pasta. It's super versatile. It's just a yummy base. I'm competing with a bird at the moment, somewhere in this tree. It's just a yummy base of flavour that you can mix with lots of different things. So if you're gonna make it, make a good amount of it. So our rice. Spoons full of our rice. And our chilli's still ticking away. Another thing you absolutely could do is you could stir the rice into your chili mix, let it stop, and then you can have it as a burrito. That rice thickens it up. It means that you can wrap it up in a tortilla and have it like a burrito, like a breakfast burrito. So like I said, it's super versatile. It's great just as is with corn chips, like it's a dip. So you can get many, many different serves and different dishes out of one recipe. But today we went for the chili with rice. It's a classic campfire cooking dish. And really, really simple, taking advantage of all of those old El Paso recipes or old El Paso ingredients. So now we'll go catch up with Henry, who's seeing Kirsche Keichel at Mona to talk about 24 Carat Garden. And then when we come back, we'll be back in the kitchen finishing off Taco Tuesday.
Today I'm really excited to be meeting Kirsche from 24 Carat Garden. She's done some amazing things in the food industry. She's heavily involved in community gardening, and she started a new project called 24 Carat Garden, and I can't wait to learn all about it. G'day, Kirsche.
Hello.
Can I come in?
Yes, come on in.
What a beautiful garden you've got here.
Thank you.
Amazing. Is this yours?
Yes, this is mine.
Oh my God, it's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, and this is David.
This is my husband, David.
Great to meet you, David.
Yes.
Yep, he's definitely doing his job here as the scarecrow. Yeah.
Very cute. Very lovable.
Yeah, absolutely. I like
Surprised
the mop.
all the birds don't flock to the garden.
So you've got everything here. It's you obviously love your gardening. I had no idea.
Definitely, yes. And I don't do it. I do it all myself, but well, just a little help from maybe Ben, our head gardener at Mona. He's actually pretty amazing. We poached him from the government house.
Oh, well done. From the botanical gardens.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's why it's so beautiful and neat.
Well,
you've
from
got some
their
tips.
gardens, the government house gardens.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Very nice.
Yeah, the standard is good.
It is very good. Well, I've got a massive garden at home and I take a lot of pride in it. But I tell you what, this is amazing. It's absolutely pristine. I'd love to just settle in here for the day. And
it's all the seaweed juice. It's just
That's the secret?
I think so, yeah.
Seaweed juice. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you're doing with your community gardening. Is that...
Yeah, well, I mean, with, you know, this current climate, we haven't been able to exactly open the garden up to the public. But we do have a sister garden in Gagebrook, and that's at Bond Place. And so that is just open to the community and everybody can be a part of it and harvest. And then this garden, because it's more than my family can consume.
Yeah. I can imagine.
We harvest from this garden, and we were using the vegetables in a cooking challenge.
Yeah.
in Gagebrook, where the Mona chef every week was creating a different dish, and there was a challenge with all kinds of prizes to create the best version of that dish using these vegetables and also vegetables that the community members grew.
It sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I knew about it. I would have got involved. Would have been so good. So how did 24 Carat Garden actually come about?
So, well, it was really born in New Orleans. I was running an art project there, a public gallery, and there were all these little kids in the neighborhood who would come around and want to be a part of whatever was going on. So I started a series of classes for them in any subject. And one of the classes was cooking. And in a cooking class, we took out some vegetables from a box from a community garden. And the bunch of carrot, none of the kids could recognize what the carrots were. They asked what they were. And then when we started pulling the leaves off of some basil, as you say, and putting them into...
Basil.
And putting them into a dish, they started screaming, "You can't eat that, you're gonna die."
Oh my God.
So they didn't understand that you could eat a green leaf, and just, the act of doing that terrified them.
Yeah.
So that was my realization, okay, that's tragic. Kids need to know what food is. They need to know what carrots are. When we explained that they were carrots, they said, "Oh, that's what Bugs Bunny eats."
Yeah.
So, in order to address that, we started a garden, and the first thing we grew, the first thing that came up, of course, were radishes. Radishes they're a little disappointing for a kid who's learning about vegetables, but then they just got into all of the vegetables, and in 3 months, the children went from not knowing what a vegetable was to growing them, harvesting them, and selling them to the local chefs and cooking and eating them.
Yeah, yeah.
So to see how quickly children can transform their attitudes around food was very inspiring, and that was the birth of 24 Carat,
Yeah.
which is now gardens in 15 Tasmanian schools. We just raise as much money as we can, and we build new gardens, and the line of schools waiting is huge.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see, working on the government a little bit.
I think it's such a great thing. It's so exciting because when I was at school, we didn't have anything like this, and it's so important to be able to connect to your food and
to know what it is, and to be empowered to know, okay, this is food, I can grow it, I know how to prepare it, I eat it, I share it. And then also to sit at a table together, because that doesn't happen in a lot of communities.
Absolutely.
So for a lot of people, so to just sit and learn how to eat together, share this bounty that you've created, really inspiring.
That connection.
The connection to each other, to the earth, to health. And we have to conquer the obesity epidemic.
Yeah.
We have to just nip it in the bud, because it's definitely catching on in Australia, and we can't let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, knowing about what's good for you and what's bad for you and where your food comes from will go a long way towards that. And for me, I'm absolutely passionate about gardening as well. And when I've been unwell in the past, getting out in the garden has just been absolutely
That's right. I mean, just
therapeutic,
this is going to just change my reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to have a bit of a cook-off with Ben, or challenge Ben in the kitchen. So have you got another vegetable we could play with?
Ooh, I love kale, but I only love one kind of kale. And that's the dinosaur kale, or the cavallo nero.
Cavallo nero. Yes. I've never seen this before. Do you always come dressed for gardening in this sort of attire?
I usually prefer a higher heel. I don't know, I was being lazy today. I generally go for a dress and high heels, stilettos.
Yeah,
stilettos are
naturally.
very useful for when it's time to plant.
Oh, yeah, a little seed planter.
Yeah, but now I don't need them because we're in a harvest phase. But when it's time to plant, I do always go for a stiletto.
Okay, yep, absolutely, makes sense, makes perfect sense. So.
Yeah, so this is cavallo nero.
Yep.
Or Tuscan kale.
And what would you do with this?
It's just so meaty. I eat it raw with truffle oil and tamari and lemon juice.
Okay, so maybe I could truffleize some of this and Ben can try the silver beet. All right, so could I pick a bit of kale?
Yes.
Yep, lovely. Thank you so much. All righty. And you can just keep this going all year?
Well, yeah, and you can also do a little, like a little whomp.
Oh, wow.
And then it'll just keep going.
You just can't kill it, can you?
Not really.
That's great. Well, this is all I need. Lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, well, we'll see what you prepare.
Yeah, that'll be great. Thanks again.
For this recipe, I'm joined by my little girl, Charlotte, and you're gonna help me make some tacos, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, tacos are one of your favourites?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like about them?
That they're filled with yummy stuff.
Filled with yummy stuff. All right, so the first thing we need to do, because we're gonna make a charred corn salsa. So first thing, we've got to char our corn,
Yeah.
which is here. So we're gonna char that by putting it on top of here, like that.
It's going to pop into popcorn, I think.
You reckon?
Yeah.
It will pop a little bit and it will smell like popcorn, but it won't pop into popcorn because it hasn't been dried out. And this corn isn't the same as popping corn. It doesn't have the same enzyme in it. So we're gonna cook that off, char that off, and then we'll cut the kernels off and start mixing it with the rest of our salsa ingredients, which I'm gonna start chopping up now. So capsicum, tomato, red onion, some avocado, a little bit of chilli, lemon juice, a little bit of olive oil, and that's it. We're gonna mix that all together. I like hot salsas. Charlie doesn't like hot salsas, so I'm gonna put some of the pickled jalapenos on mine, and we'll leave it out of Charlie's. And then this little fajita mix is what we're gonna use as the dry rub to go on top of our skirt steak. So we'll get started. While that's cooking away, I'll start chopping these ingredients, okay?
What can I do then?
Actually, do you reckon you can open that?
Yeah.
So you can open that and you can pour it all over the top of the steak,
Okay.
okay? Well done, and then I'll turn it over for you and do the same on that side for me. A good pinch of salt, please. And then a nice little squirt of oil. So we'll spread all that oil and that salt over. Turn it over again. All right, salt again, more oil.
1 pinch, 2 pinches.
Yep, good girl, some more oil. All right, that's all done. I'll finish off the salsa and then we'll cook the meat. Just pop the last little bit of corn in this salsa. Now, when you cook corn, cut it in half like that and don't stand it up and take the kernels off like this because it'll fall and make a complete mess. What you want to do, put on the side and cut them off that way and they'll fall right there in front of you instead of making a mess and spreading it all over your table, all over your chopping board. You can keep control of all of your kernels. How's your salsa, Dylan? Have you tried it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, mix that corn in for me.
Yep.
Our steak should be pretty close. All right, that's probably got about 2 minutes left, which means we can get out our tortillas. So we can add our tortillas straight over the charcoal. It'll give them some nice bar marks and give it some good char, but it'll also make them nice and pliable for us to put our taco in. Pop that on. So they'll only take about 30 seconds each side, then they can come off. So we've got some good bar marks on that. It's nice and pliable now, so you can see it's nice and soft, so it's gonna fold well. So now we just need to get our steak off. Let that rest for a couple of minutes. Salsa's ready to go, Charlie Bucket. So we'll spread some of the salsa onto our taco. Probably the best salsa I think you've ever made, Charlie.
Now I know how to make salsa.
Yeah, you did a good job too. All right. Cut our steak.
It's kind of like a salad.
It's kind of like a salad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mix everything together.
Yeah, but it's just salads you just chuck everything in a mix, but we put something else in it. What else do we put in it?
Put some lemon juice in there and some oil, some salt.
We put lemon juice and salt in there. It's not like a salad, but it's kind of like a salad, but we did chuck everything in it like a salad, but we put some lemon juice and salt in it.
A little bit of, do you like coriander?
Yeah?
Well, we'll put a little bit on there then. What do you reckon?
Good.
There's our taco. So we've got skirt steak, which is cooked perfectly. We've got our beautiful salsa that Charlie made underneath. And we've got our nice pliable flour tortillas. We're ready to eat. Well done, darling. Good job. Best salsa maker ever.